Good evening, everyone. Let me tell you what a privilege this is to present Jeff as a gold medal winner. And let me share with you that our beginnings, our connection was right here. So in the early days when we were both paralleling our career, and I'll put Eric into that, the three of us are the same vintage, and we all showed up. Jeff from Stanford, we had Eric from Duke, and me from NYU. And we were here to show our stuff. And we befriended one another. We learned the phenomenal work that each other was doing. And so, I just want to talk to the younger people now. Make these connections because they are lifelong. And could we have imagined this, that we would be here at the time when we were just showing cool cases to each other? Well, Jeff, as you know, he's a pioneering force in cardiovascular imaging. What's amazing is he did grow up in California, but always had this passion for how things worked. And that led him to pursue his college education at Caltech, where I think they kind of know how things work, if you know Caltech. He then studied at UC San Diego for medical school, where he discovered the coolest field in medicine, and that's radiology. But lurking in the back of his mind was that radiology might benefit from geometry, physics, and maybe a little computer savvy. So with that perspective, he selected for his residency and was selected by Stanford and continued with a body imaging fellowship there as well. As a faculty member at Stanford, Jeff's clinical knowledge, his imagination, and technical chops fused in a most notable way, particularly in 1996. It was then that he managed to convince a company known as Silicon Graphics, that's the company that's behind Jurassic Park, to loan him a workstation in which he created probably the first volumetric fly-through of the aorta. The result? A 1-minute dynamite, dramatic video cruising through the aorta that only took 36 hours to process. Those were the days. 36 hours to render. And if that wasn't enough, the same year, Jeff and Risa, his wife, welcomed triplets, which only took 9 months to render. Joining the firstborn, Jeff and Risa were managing 4 kids under the age of 2, and Jeff was still busy and effective transforming the field of cardiovascular imaging. So clearly we know that Jeff is not afraid of high volume workloads. Jeff's vision led him to establish one of the earliest 3D radiology labs in the nation, starting with 3D renderings of the scanner, right, which was not really tenable. He leveraged his persuasive and poetic ways, and if you've heard Jeff talk, he can be really smooth, very effective. And he convinced Gary Glazer to fund a 3D lab. From there, he built a team that grew to 12 specialists, producing thousands of cases each month. Those renderings, vivid, stunning, and groundbreaking, made Jeff the envy of every radiologist at national meetings. And let's be clear, many of us eagerly awaited his talks, particularly to see the eye candy that was sure to be offered. Jeff's real artistry has always been in connecting innovation to patient care. He helped move CT angiography from a research novelty to the clinical standard of care that it is. Ultimately, also leading the ACR's effort to establish the first CTA CPT codes in 2001 so we could get paid for this wonderful work. His scholarly contributions are extraordinary, over 300 publications, 6 US patents, more than $12 million in NIH funding, including a current NCI grant using AI and federated learning. Well, that's Jeff, okay? Always a few years ahead of the curve, and I'd like to say always reformatting the future. Within our society, Jeff first presented as a third-year resident in 1992. He went on to win 3 Hounsfield Awards, 6 cum laude awards. He joined the executive committee in 2007 and served as its president from 2011 to 2012. And I was the beneficiary of being able to work with and learn from from Jeff as he was president and I was on the board. Through every stage of SABI's evolution, he's been a defining force, helping us to grow an innovative imaging community where we are today. He has also inspired and occasionally amazed a couple of our leaders here at SABI, people like Gary Gold, Claude Serlin, and Scott Reeder. I was talking to Scott the other day, and he remembers Jeff diagnosing a mysterious growing pain of an individual by simply repositioning, if not contorting a patient in the CT scanner to reproduce avascular compression syndrome. And Scott said the images were unbelievable, and he also said, who does that? Claude Serlin recently shared with me, working with Jeff inspired me. When I went to USCD, I wanted to be like Jeff. And when you consider Jeff's phenomenal lectures, his deep clinical knowledge, his scientific prowess, who wouldn't want to be Jeff? In case you didn't know, we are also witnessing the torch that is being handed off with talent that clearly runs in the family. His daughter, Elka, mentored by Gary Gold, has already won SABI awards, and she's starting her radiology resident at UCSD next year. That's what we call longitudinal imaging impact. Beyond his innovation and creativity, Jeff's always been a joy to be around. We've shared the passion for music. Jeff's turned me on to lots of interesting gadgets. He is a gadget guy. And also we know him quite well as the MC of Don't Let This Happen to You for many, many years. And there we see how he exemplifies humor, grace, and patience. Whether hosting Taking the Lead podcast through the RFI with over 100,000 downloads, or guiding radiologists through SABI, his message is the same: to lead with curiosity, integrity, humanity, and humor. So tonight, we celebrate not only a scientist and innovator, but also a mentor, a musician, and a genuine friend to our community. So Jeff, on behalf of SABI, your colleagues, your mentees, and countless admirers, it's my honor to present to you with the 2025 SABI Gold Medal in recognition of your visionary contributions, your transformational leadership, your lifelong dedication to advancing the art and science of body imaging, and all you've done for SABI. Congratulations.
Jeff, give us some words.
Desiree wants me to ask you to get a drink. Please feel free. This is really a tremendous moment, tremendous honor for me. I want to thank you, Neil, in particular, for, wow, such amazing words. When we first met here at SABI, little did I know that it would be the beginning of a lifelong friendship that sustained an 8-year textbook project and brought some joyful guitar and bass jamming as well. To my fellow gold medalists, Dushyant Sahani and Susan Asher, congratulations. Sharing this stage with you is a true honor for me. Tonight I want to express my gratitude to the Society for Advanced Body Imaging, and for something more valuable: community, friendship, and a standard of excellence that has always been inviting and never a barrier. Last night, Gary Gold expressed at the past president's dinner something that I feel a little bit too, in that I'm a little bit of an anomaly here. My work has lived mostly in cardiovascular and thoracic imaging. To be honored by a society that many associate with the abdomen and pelvis tells me something essential about SABI. It tells me that this is a big tent. It tells me we remember that body truly means the whole body and the many paths that help us see and know it better. SABI changed the trajectory of my career back when I was a resident. Here I found mentors and peers beyond my home institution. I met people who became lifelong friends. Neil, of course, Tom Grist, Jim Brink, the late Bernie Birnbaum, and many others in this room. I would be here all night recounting you all. They introduced me to the diversity of ideas and approaches that fuel academic excellence, kept me humble, and endlessly entertained with their wit and joie de vivre. It has always been a ton of fun, always fun. I am also grateful to my mentors who set my foundation and guided me to SABI. Brooke Geoffrey, who was recognized as a gold medalist last year, the late Gary Glazer, and Michael Dake. To colleagues who sharpened the work, especially Sandy Nappel and Joseph Lowe, to the many trainees whose questions kept me honest and pushed ideas forward. And in particular to my family, my wife Risa, who would love to be here if it weren't for being under the weather, and our 5 children, Rainier, Elka, Juliana, Magellan, and Griffin. If you see something good in my work, they are a big reason why. 3 institutions have shaped me, each in a different way. At Stanford, I learned how inspiration becomes discovery and how discovery becomes practice. At Duke, I learned humility in the headwinds of change and became a better leader. At the University of Arizona and Banner Health, I've learned how to build an academic culture that harnesses the passion around me to drive excellence and growth for patients, trainees, and colleagues. I am better for having walked all 3 paths. My hope for SABI is simple. Keep the tent wide. Keep welcoming unconventional ideas and unconventional imagers. Keep pairing rigor with generosity, and keep it fun. Always have fun. If we do that, the next resident who walks into this room will find what I found years ago, a community that believes in them even as their work is just beginning. Thank you for this great honor, for this medal. Thank you for this community. I am proud to be one of you.